When it comes to time travel, more often than not, you end up with a lot of plot holes, confusion, and in most cases, it just doesn't work. But Cris Tales has found a way to blend time travel with their fantasy JRPG in such a way that it makes sense and is pretty interesting. They have found a way to incorporate time travel not only in their story, but also in their turn-based battle system, to solve puzzles, and to even find special items throughout the world, and all that without causing confusion or leaving you with a lot of plot holes. So let's have a look at Cris Tales. Cris Tales is a fantasy JRPG set in a beautiful world with great art and even better story. Within the first few minutes of playing, I was completely captured by the story and ended up playing it more and more just to see what happens next. The story starts with Cris, the main character, where she discovers that she has a magical ability to manipulate time. She then sets out on an adventure to save her town, and on her way she will meet up with different characters ranging from a frog, another time mage, a robot, and more. While walking in most areas, your screen will be split into 3 sections, with each being a piece of time, where the left side is the past, the middle the present, and the right the future. You will use these sections while walking to find hidden chests, travel forward and backward in time to complete side quests, or to find items and information. The game also makes use of these time segments in the main story to help solve puzzles that will help you make progress in the story. Another interesting way they have incorporated time travel is where you can see the future or past and make changes to it. For example, in the early stages of the game, you need to go back in time to see the differences between 2 bottles that got mixed up in the present to help save the town, and later on you can help stop an entire city from flooding by helping a little boy from death by seeing his future, where he then vows to help solve the city's flooding problem. Even though the story and scenery is amazing, Cris Tales is not without its flaws, with the biggest being the combat. When you start the game, you get introduced to the combat system pretty early on, and you get a little glimpse of how you can use time travel in combat to a certain degree. The first boss you will face, you will use a water attack on their shield and then send them into the future, where their shield has now rusted due to the long exposure to water. When I saw this, I was absolutely amazed and wanted to know how else I can use this. But then you will find out that even though there is different ways to use time travel in combat, that it isn't that interesting, and you will more likely use it for other reasons, like sending enemies back in time so they are younger and weaker. But that isn't the only reason why the combat system isn't great. The turn-based combat easily becomes boring and tedious when traveling, as you will be faced with a lot of random battles that pop up with the same enemies and the same movesets that leave you doing the same thing over and over until you finally reach your destination. If you think you're just gonna flee and not waste your time on enemy fights, this is where you are wrong as well. For me, loading sequences before and after a fight could be as long as 30 seconds combined on my PS4 Pro, and this is a problem for some other consoles as well, but faster loading times are present in the newer consoles and PC. Boss fights easily become stretched out as well, since they have a lot of health, and as soon as you figure out how to beat them, it becomes a waiting game where nothing interesting really happens, as you do the same thing over and over until you actually defeat them. In conclusion, Cris Tales has an amazing story that really makes it worthwhile to complete the game and struggle through the repetitive boss and enemy fights, and the beautiful scenery you will see while traveling from location to location and seeing the differences you make in the lives of those around you really make Cris Tales a must play for me. With all that being said, Cris Tales gets an 8 out of 10 from me, and for more tech and gaming reviews, make sure to leave a like and subscribe.